The plumber never showed up. It's Thursday. I've had unusable leaky kitchen sink all week. He came to fix the pump, but he didn't come back to fix the kitchen sink. It looks like the landlord's out of town, so I have no way of contacting this plumber. I didn't contact him, the landlords did. I have no way of getting a hold of him.
This question's from Mark. Hi Frank and Angie, I've been to the Philippines 8 times, trying to wind down my business in Canada as the oil industry has seen better days. Well, if you're winding it down, that's one thing, but if you're trying to expand your business, this is the best time. I am a trader. And I'm building up my account so I can live in another country. Red flag, Mark. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you here, okay? You do as you please. I don't tell people what to do. And if I sound like I'm doing that, I correct myself. I'm correcting myself right now. That's not my point. I try to help people see something perhaps they're not seeing. That's all. You probably already know this if you are in business. You says you're in business, oil business. Most businesses fail within 5 years. It isn't any different for trading. Trading business, most traders lose money. 90% of traders fail. So, because you say you want to build up your account, that tells me you haven't built it up yet. So, Mark, I'm suggesting that you have other sources of income as a backup. You know, it's very well could be that your trading takes off at some point. Maybe it's already doing good, but you have thresholds you're trying to reach. I don't know. People aren't giving me details. I'm just saying, if you're going to depend on that income, I would discourage you at this point. I would encourage you to have other sources too. And if you're able to build your skills in trading up to the level where you can make a consistent income, great, more power to you. All right, so my question to you is, I hadn't even asked the question yet. Well, I saw a red flag. Can we chat on Skype or phone? Or do you bother with that? Hold on a second. What do you mean bother with that? I've got a whole button on the website for consulting. Somebody's not reading the blog. Have talked to many people who give Ecuador a thumbs up over many other countries. That sounds like forum. I'm not saying there aren't thumbs up to be had here. Look, I live here. Clearly, I have thumbs up. I live here. I have a lot of questions. Okay, well, Mark, you have a lot of questions. Maybe you don't know this, but bloggers don't make any money. All those pitches about making oodles and oodles of money vlogging, those are just business opportunity scams, make money online scams. The vloggers that make the top of the industry are just like in the publishing industry. There's only one Steven Spielberg, and there's only one story about Harry Potter or whatever. I don't read that stuff, but I'm just saying, it's the same in any industry. You have the very, very top, and then you've got all the rest. And then there's people that prey on people, giving them false hopes. So the point is, YouTube, Google doesn't pay. You know Google stock keeps going up because they keep cutting their pay. Once they got so many hundreds of millions of subscribers, right? In order to increase their quarterly earnings, all they got to do is cut their customers' pay each quarter, and they'll show increased earnings and their stock will go up. So I'm just saying, red flag, Google doesn't pay. So remember that your money goes to a ministry that supports missionaries. That spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Thank you. I have a lot of questions. I'm 53 and single. Therefore, is there opportunity for marriage-minded women there? I can't think of a wider berthed question than, are there marriage-minded women? What woman's not marriage-minded? Okay, excuse me.
Especially the young ones, and there's a lot of them in Ecuador.
It's possible, Mark, that you're comparing your prospects to North America. We have to guess he's from the U.S. Usually if he's from Canada, they say so. Okay, we're in the elbow between Salinas and Chipipe. My camera cuts off because I tend to expound on things. So anyhow, Mark asked about the prospects of marriage-minded women in Ecuador. And of course it's a question with a very wide berth, and I have to try to read between the lines. I don't really like to do that. Guys, I really prefer if you specifically ask in detail what you really mean. But I'm going to guess that he's wondering, because most retirees are older, whether as an older man he has prospects to find a marriage-minded woman. Remember that finding the proper mate is not an exact science, and it really depends on you. Especially when you're older, you know, it's assumed that you've gained a certain amount of wisdom and age, hopefully, and you're able to see through some of the scams. Like, you know, if somebody you just met starts asking for money, you know, that kind of thing. You can generally tell if someone has general affection towards you or not. You know, just little things like that. But yeah, sure, I mean, an older guy can always marry a younger woman, but caveat emptor, you know, because the motivation, I mean, what young woman doesn't want a young man? Hello. So yeah, you're seen as a covering, a financial covering, which is nothing wrong with that. And yes, I'm not going to say, yeah, come down here and women are going to jump in your lap. I'm just saying, I don't know you. There's gringos here that have married a local Ecuadorian, and if you find a good woman, then that's the whole point, isn't it? Finding a good woman. But remember, a good woman attaches herself to a good man. So that's why I said it's up to you, Mark. I don't know you, you know. Yeah, there's a reversion to the simplicity in a lot of these developing countries. I've heard the same theme in many other countries, especially with a younger person, you know. So you have to ask yourself, do you really want to be married to a younger person? Because you're going to revert back to certain characteristics of a younger person. But there are certain issues in marriage that are universal. I once had a guy write in, he was an African, from Africa. They were a Christian couple, and he didn't understand why his wife would get so upset and start yelling at him because he was out of town all the time. Now the way he saw it, for African standards, he had a really good paying job, and he did. He told me how much. I imagine he couldn't get a job that paid that much in his hometown. And that's why he took this job, because he had to travel. And he wrote in saying he didn't understand. I think he did understand. He just didn't want to quit his job. And that's what it comes down to in marriage, doesn't it? It comes down to our priorities in life. And that's what we teach on our counseling website, is your priorities in life. Your spouse becomes a priority in your life. There's not much else. Your job doesn't come before your spouse. Your job doesn't come before your marriage. But that's not how Westerners think. So, you know, you're coming into a relationship with a younger person that is expecting that you're going to see marriage in that light. Not like the Western way of looking at marriage. Oh, well, the sun is shining, we're married and we're happy. When it's not, oh, you know, bye-bye. They use the term moving on, you know. Well, moving on is like a bus that is on a route that stops and then keeps moving. See, the point of that bus was never to stop and be happy in its location. And so when people say moving on, they're using inappropriate terminology for marriage.
I'm not in love with my spouse.
Well, we go into all that stuff on our counseling website. But you understand, come to a developing country, it's family oriented. The marriage-minded woman is expecting that you view marriage as a priority in life, your loyalty to the idea of marriage. So I'm not saying there aren't divorces, but it's a rare minority, and it hurts people. Thanks for the opportunity to answer your questions, and y'all have a good day. We're going to try to enjoy the beach here during Cancer Hour.